Sitting all through all that boring measuring and cutting, I figure you deserve some kind of reward, so there is the skin laid on her back. It's not stretched tight, but that's where it goes. That's what we're looking at so far. I'll go down inside that joint. That'll sit along there. It'll be stretched this way. And if there's any fish, I'll explain what a fish is. A fish is when you make a fish shape and you stitch it together to pull the existing fabric either side of it tighter. If there are going to be any fish, it's going to be right down in the center of the back. So the next pieces I got to cut are the front, which is where the zipper is going to go. I'll take the opportunity to show you one of the seldom times I'm going to use this machete-looking monster. It is a very form curved ruler. This is how we do the tops of sleeves and the tops of pant legs, depending on how they're attached. In this case, we need to measure 8 inches. But we're going to do it on a curve. We're going to start from 2, go to 10. And that'll give us the 8-inch measure we need for the top of the sleeve. On the other side, we're going to go from the 1. We'll mark the square so we know where that is. Squared off of this edge. So we know that line ends here. 1 going to the 9. There. We'll do the 2 to the 10 there too, just to get a decent curve. So that ends there. Tracing that curve. There's the top of the sleeve. We measured down the 22 for the length of the sleeve. I'll show you the other end of it here. Get the right end of the tape measure. And that center line comes out 6.5. Wait. 6 3/4. So 6 3/4 is our center line, right there. From the shoulder to the wrist. What's the wrist measurement say? It don't say anything, I got to look at it. But it's 6. So 3 either side of that center line. Now I just make the 2 straight lines and I can cut out the first sleeve. So ends another day. Skin loosely draped over her back. Just have to sew it all together now. You can see a little bit better what she's going to look like now. The hands and feet, I have to make a pair of Cuban foot stockings, at least that high, to pull up and stitch in place. The hands, I have to make a pair of spandex gloves, which, although not incredibly difficult, well, it's not that they're difficult, they're just a pain in the ass. But you can now see the color her skin is going to be. A rough idea of what the joints are going to look like when everything's stitched together. All in all, that's pretty good. I'll flip her over so you can see the front. Okay. The back skin is just lying in a piece here, not underneath her, but all the pieces just laid loose, draped over, not stretched tight. All in all, not too bad. And honestly, this makes me feel even more like Dr. Frankenstein. Anyway, tomorrow I'll start putting the skin together and then peel it onto her. Well, the main reason I picked up a serger in the first place, this is actually, I believe, the third or fourth one I've had. It's the best one I've had. The main reason I got one was at that time I was dealing with things like spandex, neoprene, not for stuff like this, but for power mesh as well. But I was dealing with superhero suits. Superhero suit, you take a 2mm neoprene, you spray glue spandex over top of it, and you have to stitch it together on a serger. For something like that, you also want a specific type of thread. This stuff here is called woolly nylon. As you can see, it's a stretchy thread. We don't need that for this. You can just use regular thread on it. Now we have our first seam. Let's do the second one. Here's the other piece. Make sure everything's in the right direction. I was surprised when I was working in film a couple of years there. I was surprised how much spandex gets used. Spandex, power mesh, everything else like it. There's even a four-way stretch fake fur that they use for various costumes and special effects bits. Can't remember the name of it. I know it's a set of initials, but yeah. There we go. The shoulders are attached to the back. Now we're going to attach one of the sleeves. Turn this over this way. No, it's got to be this way. Where everything stretches when you touch it is kind of hard to find corners. Get this lined up. See a center mark. Yeah, almost everything in film industry, for costuming and stuff, especially for special effects stuff, involves a little bit of spandex. Whether it's green screen bodysuits, power mesh, which is like a how could I describe Power Mesh? If you look it up, it's kind of like a really hardcore, what would you call it? Really hardcore fishnet. But Power Mesh, you spray foam, spray expansion foam, liquid expansion foam onto it. And it makes an underlayer you can build different things on top of. Like masks, anything three-dimensional you can build up from Power Mesh. And superhero suits. I think my favorite was a monster suit for a TV show called Zoo. I had to do body stockings like this. I made 5 of them for a costume for a mutant baboon that a monster actress who was about 5 foot and 100 pounds to wear. She looked a lot bigger with the costume on, but I'll get the rest of this assembled and show you what it looks like in one piece.